So I got this pedal upgrade kit from AliExpress. It replaces the old sensors to Hall sensors to make them react a bit better. Actually, not a bit better, way better than the old ones. As you see here, it is 3D printed and it's already pre-wired up for you. So all you got to do is take your old pedals apart and plug this one in. So first, you're going to take your pedals off. Mine is mounted to my sim chair from Racing GT. If you ever need a chair from them, just hit the link in the bio and you'll be able to get one yourself. So I already took my case off. When I mounted my pedals up to my sim chair, I liked how it looked in the raw form, so I just kept it off like this. So now we're going to go ahead and take out the old sensors. You have 3 connectors that is plugged into the sensor right here. You're going to take those out, and you do have a ground wire that is hooked up into it too. Once you get on the inside of it, there is a little silver ring holding on the old spring, I would say. Once you wedge that out, you'll be able to pop the old one out and replace it with a new one. Right here, I'm just taking some pliers to try to grab it a bit. Once you wedge it up a little bit, it'll come out easily. What I did to get the silver ring into this position was get a mini flathead screwdriver and just squeeze it in between to wedge it up. Then I grab my pliers to wiggle it out. Once you get the ring off, there is a spring right there connected to the metal bracket. You just pull it off with the pliers. And once you do that, the whole gear and the spring should come off. Take note of how the spring is coming off of the gear, so when you install it on the new gear, it'll be installed properly. So this part right here took me a while, but that gear you see in there, you slide it on and it pops right in, and then you put the bearing on top. And once you put the bearing on top, you'll be able to slide the sensor in on the other side. This kit did come with a spacer, so what I had to do was hold the spacer in place while I slid the sensor over the bearing. And once it snapped into place, I slide the washer into that slot right at the top and put the screw in just to tighten it down. Just be careful when you unpackage it, because that nut is already in the slot when it's pre-packaged. I had accidentally dropped mine and had to find it, but once you find it, just keep track of it and then slide it right back into that hole and then tighten the screw. Once you get it tightened down, just test the gear and the spring to make sure it moves freely and make sure the bearing isn't too tight, because you can tighten the screw too tight and then your gear will not move as it should. As for the old sensor on the side, you just leave it attached. There won't be no power going to it, so you don't have to worry about it, but it does hold the axle that needs that gear on. Alright, so for this part, we're just putting the pedal back together. As you can see, I'm just making sure everything is in the right position and make sure the spring is in good. With this bolt, make sure you put it in on the bigger side, not the smaller side. There is a one-way. It goes in and it goes on through the bigger side, and the small side comes out right there. These 2 white washers or spacers right here, make sure you keep up with them because they do go onto the front of the pedal to make everything fit flush. The way I did it was I held the 2 white washers in place. On this one, it doesn't really matter which way the bolt goes in because it's a bolt and then a nut. But the best thing to do is just put it in the way you took it out. So I slid it right in through the hole and put the bolt on. After I put the bolt on, I didn't tighten it down yet because I wanted to make sure everything moved like it was supposed to. I made sure the gear moved, I made sure it wasn't hitting the sensor, and I made sure the bearing was moving smoothly. Once I saw everything moving smoothly, I went ahead and put the last nut on and put it back on the plate. And you're gonna repeat these steps for the other 2 pedals, the brake and the clutch. Now they did supply a motherboard. Here's the motherboard right here. On the back, it is labeled brake, gas, and clutch. That's where the wires will go into when you are ready to hook it up. So now for the wiring part, you will have to strip back the black sheathing to get to the wires. There are a couple wires here. There is a red, black, a white wire, and a yellow wire. You're just gonna strip those back, expose some of the wire, and then push it into the hole right here. They do supply you with a mini screwdriver. The mini screwdriver purpose is on top of the wire insert, you'll see little shiny bolts. You will unscrew them, push the wire in, and screw them back in. And then you do a little tug on it just to make sure nothing is going to come out. You can pause the video right here to make sure your wire connections are correct. And once you have everything plugged in, hooked up, and everything's tight, you're good to go ahead and plug in your pedals into those white slots right there, and go ahead and tighten everything back onto your base and test it out. So the only issue I had when I went to plug up the wires after I did it, one way to test it is to pull up your Logitech software and hit the pedals so you know which one is working. For some reason, the labels aren't correct on the motherboard, so you will just have to play with the pedals and just switch them around. I think it was the gas and the clutch that I had to switch around. But other than that, also make sure that your gear is set properly, because if it's not, the game will pick it up as you hitting it when you're not hitting it. So make sure that the sensor is all the way set to 0 before you start playing on it. Other than that, I hope y'all enjoy the upgrade if you do it. And I'll catch you next time.